I actually had to Google what Langara is yesterday. I know I talk about it all the time, but I like, oh, they might ask, but they wouldn't ask, but she knew. This is perfect. So as Stan was saying, the students realized there's math involved. So what do? Maybe they have to take a math course. They come here, and then we say, oh, you have to take an MDT. So that's where my story comes in. And so this Langara thing was supposed to be used for the diagnostic test. The topic of my project would be to investigate the use of online algorithmically generated randomized questions in the MDT. So let's call it MDT from now on. What is MDT? About 800 students every year have to take MDT. The students are chosen well, they're not chosen. They have to be the ones who cannot qualify some other way. And so they are usually international students, out-of-province students, students whose prerequisites are stale, which means 3 years or older, and then also some students who would like to challenge where we want to place them. So we call it a diagnostic test, as if we diagnose a disease. Some schools call it placement test, would be the same. And our students take the test, and then they are diagnosed and placed into appropriate courses. So how it was done and how it hopefully will be done in the future. So there's the present and the future. In the present, a paper test is given to a student, and then the student fills in a Scantron piece of paper. It's marked on the spot, not by Scantron, by me or somebody else, counting how many black dots match exactly where they should be, and then we advise the students right there on the spot. So I've been at Langara for about 10, 11 years, and when I came, we had a test, and then we still had the same test, and we still had the same test, and students become creative with these things. And so then we ended up having a student coming in to write the test saying like, I want to write this blue. And we were like, oh my God, how did you get out? So we tried to be very protective of our test, but the student had the blue test in her hand, and she was trying to write that one. So we kind of felt that that might be a problem with our tests. So we wanted to generate some new ones and some different ones. And of course, the age of computers, why doesn't every student write a different one? Computers are able to do that for us. So that's the future. We will have computerized testing, where every student will write a different test. It's going to be marked there on the spot. Those that got a perfect score are placed perfectly, but just go wherever they're supposed to go. And those on the borderline will be advised. So that would be the hope. And so that was the plan we started with, and this is kind of what we accomplished at this point. We investigated possibilities. We talked to publishers, but money and publishers, that's always complicated. So we talked to publishers if they could help us. And that was not that simple. Then there's the Langara, the official title. That one exists and is used heavily at SFU. And we had some connections at SFU, so okay, we liked it. So that's Langara. In the meantime, we also learned that Maple TA exists. Now, this is the difference. The Langara says free. Maple TA doesn't really say anything, which it's not free. But then you have a 24-hour support that they actually provide. BCIT uses them quite a bit. And then we learned about a new one, which is WebWork, which is kind of adopted by Mathematical Association of America. It's free also. And now our big brother over there at UBC uses that one. So that's our newest baby to play with. So as we played, we made it test 2 and then test 1, and we entered them. That was the fun part. That was where the math people had the fun. Because we had to design the bad answers. And then we had to make sure the computer generates the bad answers as the computer changes the numbers. So it was quite a creative work behind that. So we entered the test, and lots of course, math glitches come in and all that. And then we printed them first. That was our first attempt. And now besides the blue test, we had a whole rainbow of tests. Now students I would have to come with all 4 and say like, I want the yellow. But it hasn't happened yet. So, and we do get students now sitting those 2 hours and working. Before that, we would have a 20-minute, boom, I'm done, boom, I'm done. So now we have and they still get good scores. It's not like our scores went down, but they had to work for it. So, and then we run a fully online MDT test on December 18th. That was our big day. And so that was a small one, about 40 students, but it was all online. So students don't mind computers. So is that the future? I have one little one like that at home. They don't mind computers. They are comfortable with it. It's us who feel like, maybe something. And so it is, every student can write a different question, different numbers in their question, tests are marked instantly, and they can be done anywhere. I'm going to brag there. Early May, we're supposed to run a test in Indonesia. So that would be our big thing for international students, because once they come here and write our test, courses are full. So it would be nice if they could before they arrive at the test. And so this is the yes for the future, but there's a no for the future, there's still things that need to be solved. Even with this optimistic writing test in Indonesia, there's security, there's confidentiality, how to proctor the exams. But even the students who came on December 18th, they had to log into the Langara system. And so I had to get passwords for everybody and logins for everybody, and the students had to log into that and log into that. So it was a non-trivial issue to solve. And then you have to book classrooms where they would write, and those are computer labs. We do have many of them, but still, December 18th was the last day of grades were due on that day, so it was easy that time. But there would be some scheduling issues with that. So our future steps, I will actually admit that I received the second phase, a little bit more money to do a second phase for this grant. So our future work would go to investigate the web work, because Big Brother at UBC seems to be kind of willing to help us. There is a full-time person there who is very enthusiastic about spreading the good news of web work. So we're going to work with that one. Then we will fight like math glitches, which you don't know how much effort, you do know probably that, sorry to say that, but 4/2 being 2, you have to tell that to the computer sometimes. So one would expect the computer should know that. They should know that. It's a computer. Anyway, so then there's a stat test that has not been coded yet, and the stat department has some interest in doing so. And then we will work with the international education, because they might be our best clients to apply this somehow in the near future, so we're hoping for that. And the no provincials for Math 12 might bring us many, many students to write the diagnostic test. So there's lots of possibilities and questions to answer still. So I think there's still work, and each one of us found something in it that was fun to deal with. The coding, the convincing the computer to understand math. And I would like to just thank my partners for working on this. And I very much appreciate their help, and I appreciate the money I received to do this. Thank you very much.